Welcome to the Business of Show Business with me, Jamie Boddy. I'm joined by industry experts and up-and-coming creatives as we unpack the skills, stories and side hustles behind the entertainment and creative industries. So if you are ready to thrive and not just survive in showbiz and the arts and culture sector, you're in the right place. Today, I'm joined by a West End performer who's also a qualified bookkeeper and accountant. It's Sally Frith. She's appeared in shows such as Cabaret and is currently in Evita. Like, she literally has to run from here to appear in Evita. We'll be talking about starring in the West End, how performers can manage their finances, and the business of show business. How's it going, Sally?
I loved that intro. Yeah, it's good.
Is it weird sometimes having to listen back to like your accolades as well? Because as performers, sometimes we're quite like, okay, what's next? But I'm like, you're really good.
Yeah, it is. Also, still hearing accountant and performer is still strange to me, let alone the rest of the world. So
yeah. Like it's almost like a circle of life, and the fact of like, as performers, we don't know that we need accountants, but then you are one for performers. It's like this loop. Before we go into that, paradox, first of all, Evita, I was talking to you off camera, like, absolutely loved it. You smash it so hard.
Thank you.
It's a great show and so many 5 stars. Everyone loved it. How is it actually being in it and being on the receiving end of all the applause?
I mean, it's incredible. I knew it would be incredible because, you know, Jamie Lloyd, Fabian, wonderful. But I don't think I expected the powerhouse of an ensemble that really just drive the show. I hadn't seen it at Regent's Park before, so I was going into it slightly blind, and it really does feel like such a crew mentality and such power. And Rachel is just incredible. Like, the consistency of her is, it's a phenomenal thing to be a part of. It really is.
Did you think, like, in the rehearsal room, it would be such a, like, phenomenon? Like, because now they're seeing the videos of people queuing up for the balcony on the outside, like, the whole show in itself. And as an ensemble, you were all up there. It's so good. Did you expect, like, in the read-through, were you like, yes, this is epic?
I knew it would be epic, but what we didn't know until, I think it was about week 3, when Jamie came in and said about, you know, we've got permission from Westminster Council, we will be cutting the road off from travel, we will be doing the balcony, you know, sort of keep it to yourselves for now. That was a bit of a turning point of, wow, this is going to be something really unique that's not been done before. And I didn't expect that to be so instant. Like, you know, we did a dress run with her out there. There's no publicity to say that she's doing the balcony, and straight off now we've had crowds of hundreds every night. And I think that's been incredible to see. It's free publicity in the best of ways.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense for the narrative of the story. I think it was like just genius.
Yeah, it doesn't detract from
No.
the audience experience at all. Like, how did you even do that in rehearsals though? Like that, because the staging is so effective as well. So how early on, I guess, did you have some of this in? Because obviously you have those raised plinths and stands as well. Was that quite early on, or was that kind of like, surprise, you're in a theatre?
No, thank goodness we had the stairs from day one. The meet and greet, we saw the stairs and we were like, whoa, okay. But then it did mean that by the time you are in the theatre, nothing surprised us really. We haven't got a sudden set that's appearing. We are the set, other than the stairs. So yeah, that felt kind of comfy in a way. And we had all the team worked with the cameras in, I don't know, maybe week 3. Well, it was probably before that and I wasn't there, but you know, there was a lot of camera work that happened in the studio space, and then a big chunk of tech obviously had to be working it out in the balcony in front of house at the Palladium. But yeah, it's incredible.
What was the audition process like? Because you are dancing as well. It's not like you're not step touching. It's like you're dancing hard, singing as well on that. Like, what was the audition process like for Evita?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I feel like I can tell now from an audition process what a team is like and how I'm going to feel in the room, in the space, in the project. And I felt completely at ease. I knew that they were on my team. They wanted me to succeed. I love Fabian so much, and Alan and everybody. It's wonderful. But I am a top soprano in this, which is very high. So we were singing some incredibly high stuff, and Alan kept pushing and pushing, but it was brilliant. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I think because I've been admiring your work from afar at Gogglebox, watching you, you've had such a lovely, your career's been amazing, but what I think lately as well, hopefully you've given yourself time to appreciate how well you're smashing it, but like from Cabaret as well into Evita, what 3 years now of your life has been this epic momentum, but it's probably not an overnight success to get that. So what was kind of life like for Sally leading up to the last couple of years? Because you've done touring as well. So let's give a little snapshot of Sally pre-pandemic, pandemic, up to now.
Yeah, sure. You're right. It's massively changed. I was doing a lot of touring before the pandemic, which I love touring. I wouldn't have explored the world if it wasn't for that opportunity. So I'm so grateful for that. But I think being in Cabaret just completely shifted everything for me. It ticked so many boxes. I got to play Sally Bowles. The role of Frenchie, we kind of originated in the room at the Kit Kats. It was so, it really did tick so much off that then I was able to kind of give myself a pause after and be like, hey, what do you actually want to do? You don't need to just go off and do something for the sake of it, or I think it just made me reassess a little bit, which just felt so nice. And again, that's been helped by all my accountancy stuff that I've got alongside it. So that takes away a bit of that pressure to instantly job to job.
I was just speaking to another podcast guest. You'll find out who that is soon. And we were talking about when you get to the point in your career when you don't just do a job because you think you're meant to, or because of you think the industry's expectations are that you should audition for that. You actually do a job because you want to. Cabaret ticked a lot of boxes, your original cast, great experience. Maybe what are some of those boxes now for you that attract you to a project, or that make you at least want to think, yes, I need to audition for that show?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's one that I'm still sort of asking myself every day at the minute. But I do think, certainly, if I audition for something and I like the team and I feel inspired by the work, I want to do it. I don't mind if that's just a few weeks project. I don't mind if it's regional or whatever, but if I can feel that connection, I know I'm going to have a good time. And for me now, it's more about what's the point if it's not a good time? Like, we're so lucky that we get to play for a job. So I think I base a lot of it on the room in the audition. I wouldn't be saying no to tours or anything in the future, but as long as it feels inspiring and fun, then I'll do it.
I think we sometimes don't always chase the joy, do we? Because our industry, the controllables are sometimes out. We're not always in control of the controllables, are we? Because it's whoever's got the purse strings, or do you have an agent or a producer? So I think actually chasing joy or satisfaction should be just as high up there, instead of thinking, oh, it's the West End, I should audition for it. It's like, actually, is it fun?
I mean, what's the point if not? We train so hard, and I think we can get in our heads. We can be so sort of strict on ourselves, and we've done everything for this. We've given up everything, But if you sit back on it, we're so lucky that we get to do this. So it needs to be fun for you as well.
Now that, although you're still kind of in this process of figuring that all out, have you found that does it help you audition, or are you in a better mindset now when you do audition? Is there not as much maybe weight placed upon it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that can only be learnt with sort of age and time in a way. And also having the other occupation that means that you're not, it's not like, if I don't get this job, I cannot pay my bills sort of thing. That really helps.
I think, because sometimes we, unfortunately, as creatives, sometimes attach our worth to that project, don't we? So when that project ends, or you get quite far and you don't get it, sometimes it can chip away at something maybe deeper than it is, when it shouldn't always necessarily be that deep. You spoke a bit about touring, so we'll quickly talk about that before we jump to your other side career. You've obviously done Cats, you've done Mamma Mia. What is it you love about touring? And maybe what is one thing about touring that people maybe don't realise is maybe a little bit harder or challenging?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be prepared to completely immerse yourself in new cultures, especially if you're out, I don't know, like I did 5 months in South Korea. And that's not just going for 2 weeks. That's, at that point, it's not a holiday. So you do have to be prepared for that. And I think sometimes, even though people know what they're stepping into, they might not have really taken that on board. So, but I love that. I think it's what an amazing opportunity to be able to go and do tours and stuff during the day and then do the show in the evening. I think it's fascinating. I think it's really important to have a routine still. And certainly the same would apply for like UK touring as well, especially if you're going week to week, different cities or whatever.
Yeah.
If you haven't got your own routine, I think you can really lose the plot a bit of what's going on. For me, I would always make sure that I'm doing my little gym session, or I'm looking a week ahead to see where is the next gym, where can I do that? Yeah. You know, where's there a yoga place? Or just things to keep you sane and just to ground you back to, hey, you might be somewhere really random, but you're still you. Yeah.
Is there a different level of maybe body and mental maintenance on tour, do you think? Because obviously when you're in town, especially if you live in a commutable distance, you've got that routine.
Yeah.
You can maybe see your loved ones, your family, side job, whatever it is. But on tour, you don't always have that. So is there maybe a different level of body maintenance and mental maintenance for touring?
Absolutely. People often ask me like how I feel about Cats tour. And I always say
that's a hard show to also tour.
So hard, but I always say like mentally, I was the strongest I've ever been mentally on that, because I think you had to be to know that you were going to get through it.
What cat were you again?
Bomb Ballerina.
Okay, classic.
Yes, the red one. But I think mental resilience and strength impacts your body so much as well. If you're not feeling mentally resilient and strong, that, you know, you'll find yourself suddenly getting injured. You can be going to the gym as much as you want, but I think we forget the importance of that sometimes.
Yes.
So yes, those things are so important. Like you say, when you've not got the help of loved ones, friends or whatever around you, it really comes down to you.
Yeah, because it's such an echo chamber, isn't it? You're on tour with people, and you don't have to be friends with everyone you work with, but you've got people that you love, people that are acquaintances, and it's that echo chamber because you're all going through the same things, but there's no respite. So that's what I loved when you said about your UK touring. You're finding the gym because that's your moment to decompress, get away from it all, and just kind of keep that normalcy. Which I think we sometimes are like, I'm in a show, I love it, I'm gonna do it, but it's actually it's okay just to be a human still and like take yourself out of it if you need to.
Yeah, definitely. And also to remember that like it is work at the end of the day. Yes, we can be grateful constantly, but there will be moments that do feel rough. Yes. It is a job. So that's okay too. Yeah.
So let's talk about your other parallel career, which I just think is the most... I don't know of any other performer who is a qualified like bookkeeper or an accountant. You might know of some more, but like how, why, when did this happen? How did that come about?
I do actually know a couple more, yeah. So it's
you travel in the pack,
yeah, exactly. I think it came about again when I was on tour, and I was getting so excited because it was coming up to being able to file my tax return. And I think I mentioned this sort of thing in the dressing room, and it was sort of tumbleweed silence. And at that point, I was like, oh, doesn't everyone enjoy that? Isn't everyone excited for this time of year? And at that moment, I realised I was a little strange, and perhaps that I should try and, qualify in this or look a bit further into it. So I started off with some much lower level qualifications whilst I was on tour to see, do I enjoy it? Start to love it. And I just progressed. And I was training for about 5 years maybe.
Oh gosh.
Because I did it all alongside my performing work. So sitting exams when I was back in the country, or taking a break and revising during I was even doing a last module in Cabaret, so it has taken me a long time. But along the way I think it was during the pandemic, Owen Woodgate, who I know that you've had on the podcast before, who owns Tax for Actors, and I have worked with him since then. So probably 2020 I started working for him, and that's been brilliant. So that has been my main bulk of accountancy work post-pandemic. But
similar, because obviously I will put in the show notes what episode that was with Owen from the previous one. It's just audio only, but again, Owen was an actor who kind of transitioned into that side as well, so it's nice then where you you kind of walk that line between like strategic and creative, where you've kind of got that you probably love a spreadsheet, where not many performers do.
Love a spreadsheet.
Love a formula. If I can't get that formula to do it, I'm like, I don't understand. What is this ref question mark? I'm gonna have to get you on the phone next time.
I love that.
So when it comes to accountancy, I think a lot of performers end of tax year, it's like that typically, because creative types, we normally leave it last minute. That's probably quite a brash statement, but I would say for the most part, a lot of not all creatives, but a lot of them do. Why should it not strike fear into the heart of a freelance creative when it comes to doing your tax?
Well, I think it's good for people to decide, are they going to use an accountant or are they not? Mm-hmm. I think to make that decision, you can do that pretty quickly. You don't need to wait till sort of the end of the tax year. And at that point, you can speak to an accountant. You can know in advance what might be required and realise that it's maybe not as much as you thought it was. Yeah. I think that's where performers just panic. They see it as this huge thing that's going to take them hours of like labelling physical receipts in envelopes, etc. And I think if everyone can just inspire themselves to just take 5 minutes to realise what actually will I need to give my accountant, if I'm using one, I think that would help everybody a little bit. Yeah. Because it doesn't, it's really boring, but tax doesn't need to be taxing, as they all say. Yeah. So, yeah. I understand why people wouldn't want to do it themselves, but they need to know that they don't need to. That's why people like us exist. Yes.
So a performer out there, whether they're a fresh grad or seasoned veteran and thinking, right, I want to make tax more manageable, what would maybe be some of the first advice? So obviously, maybe first of all thinking, do I need an accountant or not? Are there any other tips or tricks you would give just to get someone, obviously I don't want to give away all your service for free, but like maybe one or two things someone can action after this episode to be like, right, let's get on top of tax?
Yeah, so certainly contacting someone first if you're going to use one. Maybe just having a little look around and being aware of what are taxable expenses, because that's going to work in a performer's favour. If we can put through all allowable expenses possible, we're going to be reducing our tax bill, which means paying less money. So within, we have to do that legally, of course. But maybe just familiarising yourself with what are those things and can I be making a note of what they are every month? I think that would help. And then certainly with budgeting as well.
Yes.
I think that like the industry can lead itself. It's very easy to go down this sort of like lavish lifestyle that maybe we can't all quite afford. The sort of Soho house, the pret-a-manger every day. Yeah. And I think to really just have a little bit of a look at, can I afford those things, or am I just doing it because everybody around me is doing that?
Yeah. Well, olive oil at the moment is like £7. The cost of living.
It is, isn't it? Even more so, actually. I agree.
Olive oil.
Yeah. Stand no chance.
So what are maybe some of the misconceptions or things people, cause like headshots, for instance, that's something you could claim back?
Yeah, for sure.
What are maybe some of the most, like, I remember I was lecturing and I was like, tax is not my bag, let's get someone else in. And they said, so I could buy a piano. And I'm like, well, you have to be able to afford the piano first. You're not just going to get money from the government to buy a piano. Like, that's not how tax works. And I know you lecture when you can, when you're not busy, at colleges as well. So what are maybe some of those, if you are a fresh grad, what are maybe some of those taxable expenses that aren't like wild or like you can't conceive?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to remember that we are a bit of a grey area as performers. There's not always really strict rules for our profession. We're a bit strange, aren't we, generally?
Yes.
But I think it's good to remember the boring HMRC term of wholly and exclusively. So just thinking through, was that purchase wholly and exclusively for business purposes? I think that's really helpful. So we get some...
Yeah, like if you buy Laducas, you can't be walking down their street in them. They are specifically dance.
There you go.
Claim it back, but not if you're going on a night out.
Exactly. Agreed. Yes. Agreed. I think that's the best way to think about it for sure.
And then how do you balance then your workflow between... Because obviously you said before coming here, you were doing some accountancy work and then obviously you got a show this evening. Mm-hmm. Do you try and work certain days of the week, certain hours? Do you try and create that type of workflow, or is it a bit more kind of ad hoc?
I am lucky in that it can be slightly ad hoc, but I do try and give myself structure, because otherwise it would not get done. It needs to have structure. So I'm really lucky that I do drop down hours when I am on a contract. That's the perk of having a boss who was a performer and understands it. So yes, I try and make sure that I have a Sunday off, because it's important
good,
to rest,
yes.
of course. But other than that, I'm working every day, normally from about 9 until mid-afternoon before there's any rehearsals and then the show. So it does end up being quite a heavy workload, but it's, you know, I'm so lucky to know that I'm coming out of Evita in 5 weeks' time and I've still got this amazing other side hustle, so I wouldn't change it for the world.
And is that something that you would, because again, for some performers, I think also now there's maybe sometimes the glamorization of being an entrepreneur or an influencer, but it's like, but what are you going to influence about? Or like what, not every hobby needs to become a side hustle, but in some cases when you've got those additional skills or that passion, 100%. So if there is a performer listening who has got an additional set of skills or they've got that itch they want to scratch, would you recommend, or does it help you as a performer to be a bit more well-rounded, do you think, to have another side passion?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, it's great to use your mind creatively anyway, to be thinking of what those other things could be, whether or not they do end up bringing you income. It doesn't really matter as long as it's bringing you joy in that moment. But yeah, I think that I spent a lot of years doing jobs. I was just getting any job quickly because I was like, I will not, struggle money-wise. I was just getting any old job. And I think that I wasn't particularly happy in that time. So I think as soon as I realised you do have a choice, yes, performing is your main job, but you can choose the other ones as well, then suddenly my whole sort of world was a bit brighter. So I hope that people can take a bit of time out of their performing time to just focus on the other bit.
And I think especially financial literacy in the arts world, because it's almost glamorized to starve for your art, isn't it? So it is that money scarcity. So it's, I guess, reprogramming performers' minds to be like, oh, I can make a living in this, whether it's solely from performing or 50-50 with another job. Obviously, you do work with graduates when you go in and lecture and teach on tax and finance. What are maybe some of their reactions when you bring up that it's okay, or this is what you need to do? Are they initially kind of like, oh, this is scary, I know nothing? Or are you finding now that newer generations of performers are a lot more kind of open to that kind of financial mindset?
I think sort of 50-50. I think that it's still, of course, you're fully training in that moment in theatre. Of course, you're so like tunnel vision, and I get that. Like you need to be if you're going to succeed. You need to be giving it everything. But yeah, I do think there just needs to be 20% of you that's realistic. Because as well, then the second you don't get a job instantly, that can really hit people's egos, as we all know. It's hard to be as resilient as we are. So if you've got that other little thing on the side, whatever that is, that's bringing you joy and potentially an income, then that can help with those knocks as well, if you aren't getting the performing work. Yeah, I think that for me would be my number one tip for anyone graduating, to really just have a little think about what the other side hustle is. Yeah,
and I think it just makes you a bit more well-rounded sometimes, because if a casting director's like, what have you been up to, or what you've been doing, like, it's okay, you're not a robot, you don't have to be industry. It's good when you've got those other passions, or if they do scout you and see on social media that you've done something else, they're like, oh great, let's talk about that. They want to kind of know who you are. And not just like, oh, that is the machine that loves to sing. With these business skills that you're now implementing, not only for your side hustle, are there some of those business skills that you now implement to you as a performer? So whether that's like good email etiquette, how you file and store things, what are kind of maybe some of the business skills you use as Sally the performer?
I mean, certainly my organisation and my time management are very good. Yes. It has to be said. I'll pride myself on those. Yeah. So certainly that. And my motivation as well. I think I have to be so motivated with all my accountancy work being work from home as well.
Yes.
Gosh, yeah. People who do that like solely work from home, wow.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by them. But yeah, to have to sort of, to know that you're sitting at the desk and you're doing this at this time. Yeah. I think that really helps me with like, right, well, you're going to go and sing at this time to practice this. Yeah. You're going to go to the gym at this time. So I think all that self-motivation has helped me sort of not sit back on my performing, not get lazy with it.
Yeah. So then now we've kind of given some of those soft skills advice. What audition advice would you maybe give to someone, whether they want to audition for a tour, cruise ship musical? Is there any audition advice you would say, try to look at it this way, or don't sing this, whatever it is? What audition advice do you have?
I think mainly just being authentic to yourself. I think I spent a lot of time early on in my career a silly example would be people were wearing skirts and heels to go in and do their singing round. So I was wearing skirts and heels. And then it's like, after a while, I'm thinking, why? Things like that. I'm like, no, they don't need to see that. They're not asking to see that.
Yeah.
They can imagine what I look like in a heel. It's all right. Just being authentic to you. They want to see you. They want to see what can this person bring that's a bit different to everybody else. So sort of trying to fit that mold will never, well, maybe not never, but won't always work.
We can probably sometimes sabotage you as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it probably did for me, for sure.
Yeah, because then you're thinking, I think they want this, but you have no idea. So actually all you can do is present how you want to present, what you want to wear, what you want to sing, how you want to perform. What is your go-to audition song then? Or what did you audition for Evita with?
Is it bad to say I don't remember?
You were just so present, you don't remember.
I think it was material, actually. Like, I think they'd sent material over from the score. Yeah, I'm afraid I can't tell you that.
That's okay.
So sorry.
No, I love that. You're just so in the moment, you just can't remember. And I think a lot of the shows you've been in as of late, they seem equal measures singing, equal measures dancing as well, which I think sometimes can be quite a rare things, because Cabaret was really dancey as well. You might not have thought of that being in it, but watching it seems so physical as well. Was it quite nice to almost have those equal measures with a show? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I love playing parts. I love acting and singing for sure, even though it sometimes can be easy to get like slightly pigeonholed when you can dance. But I absolutely love it. Singing's my, favorite thing in the world, really. For sure. And especially on Cabaret, being able to, the Kit Kats had to sing an awful lot, but I was also covering Cost, Fraulein Cost and Sally Bowles. So getting to sing all that material, the Candor and Ebb stuff, was just an absolute dream. And especially because in a show like that as well, they were so wonderful in that we didn't have to do stuff in a prescribed way necessarily. It wasn't you're covering, so you will do what the first cast does. So that was amazing too, to have that creative freedom. And
were you shipped in a few times to play like Sally Bowl beyond your contract as well? I think, did I see that on social? You would like just casually nip back to cover the role.
I don't think I ended up going on for Sally Bowles. I think I went back on for Frenchy and Cost maybe. And I think I was on standby for Sally Bowles. Yeah. For a few times. That was fun.
When that phone call come in, what was it? Was it like, oh, okay, got to try and remember that again? Or was it just like autopilot?
It's autopilot in a way. I mean, obviously you're going to get a little bit of rehearsal. But I find things like that fun. Yeah, it's great. Why not?
Yeah, I think sometimes I think we quite often as creatives, we thrive in chaos sometimes, don't we? So we're like, why not? It's like, obviously we hate when someone injures themselves, but an on-stage reblock sometimes you're like, let's just do it. Let's go.
What's like tonight, we've got about 7 covers on, 7
oh gosh,
swings.
So it's like going up and down
people
those,
in that many different tracks, crazy.
Going up and down those stairs as well.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Thanks.
Before we go to our special game show portion, just jumping back a bit, because I think you've spoke about the finance side so casually and elegantly that I think it takes away that fear. Because again, even people like my generation, because all we were told at college and training was, save 15% of each paycheck. And sometimes you can't always do that because it is like a one-off or cost of living, whatever it goes over. So what are maybe, when it comes to like those reasonable expenses and stuff now, just so people get their head around it, and it's solely got to be for the industry. So if it is an outfit, shoes, headshots, because they are specific to the industry, that is something they can claim back. Where if you bought an outfit that you would wear on a Friday night out and to sing in your recall, that's a no-no.
You've got it correct. Yes. Random ASOS stuff I can't really be putting through for you. But yes, certainly things that if you're being asked to provide a costume for a concert or something, yes. Okay. Things like that. Like you say, Laducas, all that is allowable expenditure.
And they can claim back an accountancy as like a business expense. Is that true
Your
or false?
accountancy is, yes, it is. Yeah.
So that's another thing that should hopefully take that fear off. It's like, oh, I have to pay for the service, but I claim it back because it is a business expense.
Yeah. But then again, in the same breath, it's not getting... People can get a bit confused and think that they are going to be given that money back, which they're not necessarily going to be. So, yeah,
taking it off that bill.
Yeah, taking it off that bill.
And the thing because again, I'm not, although I have to pay tax, I'm not a tax specialist. So if a graduate asks me and I'm always like signpost them over to Owen and stuff, and now you, people are like, well, why do I have to pay like in July as well? Because depending on how much you earn, it prospects what you may be owed for the future year. So can you quickly break down what that is with tax that you may have to pay in July as well as January?
Yes, they will always ask for a little bit in advance, a payment on account. But actually, all you've got to think of it as is you're doing yourself a favour. You're kind of paying part of the next portion. Yes, you could reduce that payment, which we would talk about more if you were coming over to tax practice.
Please book them. Yeah.
But you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot a bit. If you're paying in the way that they want you to, with the payments on account, you're going to be much better off the year after. You'll be lowering your tax bill.
I think it was a nice way, like doing a favour to your future self there. I think it was a really good way of putting it, because then people are like, why? Because I think sometimes as performers we're always like, we want to pay as less tax, but actually when you book them for your tax appointments, if you're trying to like get a mortgage and things like that, like you obviously always legally pay your tax, but there's ways you need to obviously earn more if you want to get a mortgage. You're not always going to necessarily put everything through. So I think it's worth reaching out to you guys, I think.
And I think that main thing is as well, just not burying your head in the sand with any of it. All of it gets harder if you're getting behind on it. So it's just being aware of, what are those costs that are going to come?
Yeah.
And I know, like with the budgeting stuff, you don't need to be loving your spreadsheets or whatever to be good at it. It can be quite simple, can't it? You know, how much is my rent? How much are my bills? Am I making that?
Yeah.
If not, how can I? I think just those basic start points can make it less intimidating, the whole concept.
And taking away that resistance when it comes to money and tax and understanding like, okay, let's make this as smooth as possible. Obviously, Evita, I'm going to let you go running off in a second. You're doing a show. This is a lovely wham bam specific period. How do you keep just as motivated though when you're doing a long tour? Because obviously with this Evita show, obviously phenomenal, but it's a shorter run. So there's not that you would ever get bored or anything, but there's probably less time. Every show there probably is something new because it is such a shorter run. When it comes to a long show though, how do you keep yourself as incentivized?
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I think that is when it is important, as I said earlier, to remember that it can be a job sometimes. It's okay to be like, oh, I'd rather just stay in bed. That's okay to feel that occasionally. Because we're so lucky that when we get to work, we probably don't feel like that when we leave the building. You know, we probably feel much more energized and brilliant because it's such an amazing industry. But yeah, in terms of motivation, I think making sure I'm still doing all my body recovery stuff, even if my gym work is just so that what I'm doing in the gym means I can do what I'm doing on stage. It's not to build muscle. It's not for anything, aesthetically, whatever. It's just...
It's like that maintenance, isn't it?
It's maintenance. I think continuing that maintenance is helpful. And like we said, having other passions as well, whether that is something that brings you income or whatever, it could be anything.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Making sure you're not just doing 8 shows a week, because that can become rough.
I think the maintenance is so key because you've been hired for a service, so you need to be able to deliver the show the same 8 shows a week, but then also have maybe go and see family at the weekend or go to the gym and not be like exhausted and burnt out. Before I burn you out mentally, I'm going to let you go to your show. We're going to do our new portion for this season, which is our quick fire questions, which is called Lights, Questions, Action. And they're basically some quick questions, it's silliness, and you're just going to answer just as quick as you can. Are you ready?
Pressure. Yeah.
Okay. What was your first job in the industry?
What was it?
Yeah.
Mamma Mia.
Oh, classic. I feel like I've dressed a little bit Mamma Mia for you today, subconsciously.
Lovely.
I could be one of the dads. What theatre show could you happily perform in forever?
Forever? Oh my goodness me.
Yeah. You get some time off, but for a long time.
Well, let's go for Cabaret then.
Classic. Pre-show ritual. Do you have to do anything before every show?
Everyone laughs at me with my, I have my exercise bands and I put them around my ankles and I do my little glute activation exercises.
So you're engaged everywhere.
But I think it has become a bit of a thing that I'm like, if I haven't done it, it'll be a rubbish show. Yeah.
That's a good one to have. What is the most wildest thing you've ever seen someone try to put through as an expense?
Whoa. Very, very expensive suits.
And you're like, that wasn't for an audition.
Yeah.
No. Worst mishap for yourself. So it could be in a show, an audition. Have you had an accidental slip or sung the wrong words? What's been your worst mishap or your most cringiest moment?
Oh. There was one time in Mamma Mia, the line is, guess who left their ticket on the kitchen table? And somebody had said chicken to me before. Trying to get me to do this, and I did. I said, guess who's left their chicken on the kitchen table?
Oh no,
it was awful. I can see you're going red for me. Look, thinking about it. I'm embarrassed, and that was probably in 2013.
I guess you could somewhat
it was awful.
To a Greek dish, but no,
it's in the first scene as well.
Oh, so it sets the bar.
Yeah, really low.
Guess who's left the chicken on the table?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite location you've performed at on tour? Ooh. So it could be a city, a country. Just favorite location.
We went to a beautiful theatre in Monte Carlo.
Oh,
that was
got the
gorgeous.
Money there.
It was absolutely stunning. Yeah, the interior is amazing.
Best advice you never took?
Probably going back to the being authentic to myself in terms of how I'm showcasing myself in auditions, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your go-to audition song. If someone said you got an audition in 2 hours, what would you put out the bag?
Well, I do love a bit of a Linda Eder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not really for an audition. It's just like a little jazzy number I like to do on a Friday night.
So like we don't need to hear that anymore. You're like, I've got another one.
I don't mind. I'm going to sing it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Most obvious expense a freelancer could put through.
Spotlight membership.
And obviously we've been on a podcast. So do you like to leave podcast length voice notes or text message?
Voice note.
Always. I like a voice note too. Well, that's it. You passed.
Way, ding, ding,
get out of here. Get to the show.
Yes.
That's all. Make sure you check out Sally and her accountant skills or in Evita. Make sure you leave a review or comment wherever you watch or listen to your podcast. And I'll see you next time.